Welcome back to Lexus Revival Garage. My name is Mark, and today our ES300 project car has a little bit of a problem. Car's been on for about 20 minutes, been driven a little bit, and this temperature gauge has barely moved. And as a matter of fact, when you drive the car, the temperature gauge actually goes down instead of to its normal operating temperature position. So today, let's replace the thermostat and a few coolant hoses on our ES300 project car. So obviously the thermostat down in here is what we're going to be replacing. But also too, I did notice when I bought the car that these coolant hoses coming in and out of the radiator, both the upper and the lower one, do not appear to be original. And these worm clamps here are causing a pretty serious coolant leak now that it's gotten cold here. So when you start up the car with the cold start, coolant pretty much drips really rapidly onto the floor from right underneath where this is and right underneath where this is. So it doesn't take a rocket science to figure out where that's coming from. As you can see, there's part of the coolant link right there. And then maybe down below on that subframe there's a little bit of coolant. Don't know if you can see that, but yeah, those are the issues we're going to be tackling today. And let's get started. First things first, we need to drain our radiator of the coolant. And you've actually already seen me do this in a previous video, so I won't bore you with showing too many of the details there. The only difference is this time I'm not going to worry about draining the engine blocks like I did last time. I think we'll be able to get, all the coolant we need out of the system by just draining the radiator itself, and whatever else, falls through the system and drains out will be enough for doing what we're going to do today. So let me get a drain pan and we'll go ahead and get that started. While that is draining, I'm going to go ahead and prep ourselves to get the thermostat removed. And in order to do that, we need to remove a lot of the intake, air intake boxes and things, just to get out of our way so we can get down in this little crevice here in the engine. So I'll go ahead and do that, and I'll do a time lapse so you can see me doing it, and I'll let you know if I run into anything wonky along the way. Okay, so I've successfully removed the air box, all the stuff here that connects to the throttle bodies, and I went ahead and took off the upper radiator hose, and then I've taken off the upper part, the upper end of the lower radiator hose, and this right here is part of the actual thermostat housing. And so, not sure how well you can see, but the area we need to be working in or focused on right now is right here. This is the housing. There are three, I believe 10 millimeter nuts to undo here to get the back part of it out. That's where the actual thermostat is this back part. And then somewhere along here, we should have, right here, we have a bracket that's held on with the 12 millimeter that we will remove so we can finally get the entire thermostat housing out. I need to go ahead and remove probably a couple of more connectors, maybe a couple more hoses here, just to get a little more room. The starter may be in our way, but I think I'm hoping that we'll be able to get to everything we need and kind of wiggle the thermostat housing out sort of through all these cables or all these hoses that are snaked through there. So that's what I'm going to try, and we'll let you know when we get there. This makes way more sense now. These are actually two pieces. It would appear that these just press in and are held in with tension. There's no threads or anything in here. I'm not sure if just the ES is this way, but no other video on the internet I could seem to find for these coolant replacements or thermostat replacements mentioned anything about these pieces coming apart. So we're gonna need to do some cleaning on here, and I will do that. We've got a lot of leftover gunk from the valve cover gaskets that were leaking. I'm gonna clean this up and then we will go from there. Now, according to the internet, this little deal here, not sure if that's some sort of like float or something, needs to point in the upward direction. So when you get your thermostat in your housing, just kind of take a mental note of, once the housing's flipped back around, in our case, what direction up will end up being. Okay, we got everything back together and tightened down. I still need to remove the lower radiator hose here. Looks like there are some, there's a piece of insulation or something zip tied to it, so I need to cut that off and then go up underneath and undo its warm clamp, and then we'll put the new ones on. Okay, I've got the lower hose removed now. I'm just gonna go ahead and quickly clean down the mating surfaces of these. All right, we have our upper radiator hose here, and we have these beautiful OEM clamps here now. And we're just gonna go ahead and get everything installed. Just gonna spray a little bit of grease here. Help these go on, because I'm wanting to fight me a little bit. Okay, let me show you what I've done here. Each hose has a mark on it. And you can see there's a little lip here. I've gone ahead and aligned the yellow mark with that lip there. And then the front, we have a white mark, and I've lined it up with the white line there. And then what we're going to do is take our clamps, and when we release them, we're going to make sure that the top of our clamp is kind of centered on that, the white mark and the yellow mark here, respectively. So let's take a look at what that looks like. I'm just taking some needle nose pliers. And all you gotta do is grab your red tab here and give it a good tug, and that will now we are secure, and that looks way better than what was there before. Okay, so I noticed the new hose, for whatever reason, did not come with the insulating section like this one did. The hose we're discussing now is a lower radiator hose. So I reused the one that was on the previous hose. Does look like it's part of the original, but they cut through it to get the old hose out when they replaced it with this aftermarket stuff. So while I don't like zip ties, they had zip ties on here before. They looked really janky. They had left the tails on them. So I went ahead and put 3 zip ties on here to keep it secure around the hose here. And I think even though I use zip ties, it does look a lot better than what was there before. So let's go ahead and install this one now. All right. Just making sure we've got our routing correct here. Okay. Now I'm going to go down there, get my last clip, run it through, and then get that other side secured in. There we go. Well, it's the next day, and we ran into a pretty disappointing issue. The O-ring on the end of this metal piece is went bad and spilled coolant all over the garage here. So yesterday was Sunday. I couldn't get a replacement ring yesterday, so I had to wait until today, the next day, to get it. And we're gonna put this on now and hope that this fixes the issue, put new coolant in it, finally do the bleeding process, and hopefully we can call this done. And after driving for several miles, look at our temp gauge. That is perfect. And I am very happy with that. Well, I hope you found this video helpful and informative. I'm happy with the results. Car's driving very well for what it is. And we'll continue to work on this car and get it into as like new condition as we possibly can. And yeah, so I hope everybody has a great day. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, do all the things, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.